All right, we're here to go flying today. We get to fly 74 Alpha X-Ray, a fabulous Pilatus. On our walk around, we're gonna make sure we've got good tire and nose wheel. We'll check the oil inside, make sure it's good, and condition of the engine compartment. Next, we're gonna check the prop and make sure that there are no nicks or dings all the way around it, and make sure that the intake is clean. Nice thing about a Pilatus is there's no ice that ever builds up on the intake to our jet engine. We don't want that, and they've done a good job by keeping this really, really hot all the time. Back around to the other side, we've got a few things to look at in here. I'd check the engine turbine area, the pressurization, the engine fuel control unit to make sure that everything's attached, nothing's hanging loose. Then we're gonna move on. In here is our oxygen compartment, but we have a repeat gauge inside. If there's some reason to open that up, we would, but today we don't. We got the gear, trailing connection gear, really nice stuff. It smooths out all of my bad landings. AOA vane for AOA on both sides. It's got two computers, two AOAs. They talk to each other and give me a correct input inside, so I can fly AOA all the time instead of airspeed. It makes a more precise flight. Easy in, easy out. This airplane is. I've flown a lot, and compared to a lot of mid-sized jets, this is very comfortable to get in and out. Of course, we have the quick donning mask, and the oxygen system gauge is behind me here. Looking at the cockpit itself, we have a standby battery system right here, emergency power, another 45 minutes with the Garmin and the number 2 radio. So between those two things, and of course your backup attitude indicator either on this side or that side, you're all set for if anything quits. I was going to have that come on so you can see it. We got the radar here. It's all self-contained. This is our number 2, a King radio, and of course the Garmin. And then we have the Garmin transponder, ADF, if you want to listen to AM music. That's about all it's good for with the advent of GPS. Now, in this airplane we have a really nice backup system for both the GPS and for weather. This is a Garmin 696. It's right here on the yoke. We have the antenna up here. It's powered by the aircraft power supply. But if the power supply fails, because you've had some catastrophic electrical problem, this self-contained battery will still work for another 3.5 hours. And of course, it gives you everything you need. A fabulous piece of equipment. So we've got the pressurization system and air conditioning here. And then the intercom system up here. This is a standard autopilot that comes with all of the Pilatuses up to the NG, and then they change that. But it's really a good system. I don't know what else to tell you. Just one last comment, and that is that if you want an airplane that does everything for about 20% of the cost, that's what this is. If you want an airplane that spends all the money you have just to get from one point to the other, you need to look at something else. This engine, it's a program for the engine. It's called the Silver Lite by Pratt & Whitney Canada that runs the program. And they, depending on which part of the program you buy, you pay a certain amount per flight hour. And this one is, I think, $125 per flight hour. And at the end of 3,500 hours, they do an engine overhaul for you. You basically put the money away through them. It also requires trend analysis, and we have a form in this airplane that we fill out. Thought maybe I could put my hands on it because I just did it. But we fill out on every flight all the engine parameters and stabilized flight. At the end of the month, the secretary, Cheryl in the office, sends them all into Pratt & Whitney, and then Pratt & Whitney sends back to her their analysis, and it's all in a graphic form. So you can get an idea, they get an idea of what's happening with the engine. And if there's something that happens during the period of time between overhauls, I'm not sure what this program is for us. I only know about it at the end of overhaul, but that would be something to discuss. But you can upgrade that program to any level that you would like, to where they covered if it hiccups. But we've had no issues with this. Now we fly this airplane over water, over the salt water, down to the Bahamas, and so on. And Pratt & Whitney says that we need to have it washed, and we are religious about having this airplane washed after we fly over salt water. So this last inspection, no corrosion. When it was overhauled at 3,500 hours, no corrosion, because of that wash program that they insist on and that we do. The best thing too about this airplane in terms of operation, there are only professional pilots flying this airplane. There are not people that are involved in lawyering or doctoring or something else and then fly on the side. We fly the airplane safely and economically and correctly, so that we don't have a broken airplane. Because we know as pilots we can't fly again if the airplane is broken, so we take care of it. It's a great airplane. Static wicks all the way through, make sure they're on. Aileron is connected to the nose wheel for taxi through some bungees, just like in a Cessna basically. This is a really neat thing. This is a Fowler flap. You can see it's got another wing on it, and the way the air flows over it creates a huge amount of lift and gives us a final approach speed of just over 80 knots when we've got them all the way down. A lot of light airplanes don't fly that slow on final approach. We check the wheel over, make sure the tire's good from the back side. Of course, all the way up here we've got our pressurization, air conditioning, outflow, more static wicks all the way through it. Unbelievable that they could build an airplane that does this. An important part of our walk around is to make sure that the stabilizer is in the correct position, and there's markings on there and the leading edge there. The cargo door we've talked about already. This is another part of our walk around, the nitrogen head pressure for the hydraulic system. Now there's a nice thing about this airplane. The hydraulics is only to bring the gear up and down, and if it breaks, it moves all by itself anyway, coming down. You never have to worry about, are you going to get your wheels? They've just done a great job with that. Again, on this side, checking the flaps, the connect points inside, trim for the ailerons, more static wicks. There's several of these underneath the other side and this side, and they're temperature sensors for the various electronic equipment there. And finally, we're back up to where we get in and go. And that is it.